channel, everyone. Welcome to the planting portion of our 4x4 boxes. It's sort of hard for me to talk with my mask on, so I'm going to ask everyone to step back and then I can take my mask off. So maintaining social distancing is very important, even when we garden. Today I'm going to talk about how to transplant the plants. Some of the plants that you're going to get are going to come in a pot like this. Some will come in a small pot like this, and some will just be a plug. So in order to put them into the ground so that they are the happiest, you want to make the hole about the size of the pot. So if it helps you to put the pot there to know, so then you make the hole that size, and you want to dig it down. The kids love this part the best. Squish, 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 tap, and out it comes. These are the baby roots, so they're out looking for food. They'll keep growing in a circle. If you just plunk this in the ground like this, they'll keep going in that circle looking for food. So what we want them to do is go looking outside that, so we disturb their house a little bit. When I do this with kids, it's called tickle, tickle, tap, tap. Tickle, tickle, tap, tap. So you're taking away some of the soil, so the roots go, uh-oh, we better go looking somewhere else. So the hole is as deep as this is. You drop it in. With tomatoes, you want to go, well, up to this leaf, the biggest set of leaves. This leaf is too small, we'll take it off. So all the way up to there. So break that down a little bit. With your tomato, you're going to want to drop it in, and you want to push it down hard, and you want to pack it. It looks like it's in too far, but tomatoes love their feet to be tucked in really tight. So once you do that, then you give them a big drink of water. Now, peppers, which might be one of the other plants you get, in a little square pot like this, again, sort of root bound, which is those roots looking for food. You want to do the same thing, a tear. So a tear and a tear. So you're creating air in there, so the roots go, uh-oh, someone's taking all of our food, we better go looking somewhere else. This one is easy, down, scoop, drop. And you want them as well packed in nice and tightly. So if this was a tomato and this was a tomato, you would want this tomato to be here and this one to be over here. I'm doing this for demonstration. This is the hardest one to plant. This poor guy, this is a Russian kale, tomato, pepper, Russian kale. So you can see that it's been in the pot for a really long time, and just because a lot of what's been going on with the situation in the world right now, some of these plants stayed in their pots too long. So this one you have to be especially careful to make a little bit of a tear in it. You'll see that it's pretty much depleted the soil inside of there. It's eaten up everything that it could possibly eat, and it's starting to get a thin stem because it's not getting enough to eat. However, this little guy right here needs as big a hole as we made for the tomato, because you want him to be all the way into the ground past that curly point. So he sits up nice and tight. Now everybody will get a drink. One of the things to remember, especially with a 4x4 box, that you want to allow space. So in your 4x4 box, these are too close, way too close. So the other thing that you're going to get to put in your 4x4 box are some seeds. And I'm not going to plant all of the seeds, but I am going to talk about how the seeds need to be planted. However, beans are kind of a tricky one to plant. See, there's just so many pretty, I could keep on picking them out. But beans do this thing where they grow down and up at the same time. So when you plant a bean, you want to bend your finger, and you want to plant it halfway between this knuckle and this knuckle. So that's how deep you want to put your bean. Because if you put your bean only this deep, just barely under the soil, like this, when it pushes up, it's also pushing down. It'll push right out of the ground. Quite often you'll see in a garden, you'll say, oh, it must have been too much water. It popped my beans out of the ground. And then they cook in the sun and they won't grow. You literally have to do that bend to know how deep to go, so you make a hole to that deep. And then you drop it in there, cover it up, give it a drink. But these are lettuce seeds. So there's about, I'm going to say 20 in my hand right now. So each one of those is going to be a plant. So you don't want to make a pile. Don't want to dig. You don't want to do that halfway. These, as small as they are, they need to not have to struggle to get out. You just want to put them on the top of the ground. Make a nice smooth spot. Sprinkle them, not so there's not some together and it's hard to see them. And then this is how it's easiest to do it. Then go somewhere else in the garden, over to the side, and bring over a nice smooth handful and cover them like that. They'll be happier. These ones you have to water very carefully. I usually water the ground first and then put the soil over top of them. This, for example, is a zucchini, and you might get a zucchini plant, and you'll see, I'm going to take them out of the pot. Remember how we did that? Squish, squish, tap, tap, and out they come. Again, a little bit of root bound, but let's just take these apart. I ripped it in half. Don't be afraid to do that. See how the roots come apart? They have shared space with their roots, but they're not connected. So I'm just going to really clean this one off a lot so you can see it. This is the root system that this plant produced in that pot because it was looking for food. It kind of looks like a hairy weak or something. So that is cleaned off enough to plant. So this one as well, we knew we had a big root ball there. This guy's not as particular. So if you pull them out and they have this big hairy thing on there, it actually, the roots are already growing. So you just lay it in there, push it up to this. It's got a nice thick stem. Pack it up, not squish it to death, but pack it down nice and then give it a drink. So that's a few tips for putting your potted plants into the ground. Good luck, happy gardening.